And I'll ask Patrick Malone if he would mind doing the invocation. If you'd stand, please.
Let us pray. Father, we are grateful people, thankful for the many blessings you disposed on us and our community. We ask for your guidance in everything that we do and say. We ask for your protection for our military, for our public safety officials, and especially for the class of 2021 as they close one chapter and open a new one. We ask all these things in the name of your Son, Jesus Christ our Lord. Amen.
Amen.
Please reinstate our national anthem, Veterans Hand Salute. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. You can be seated. Excuse me just a minute. Next item of business will be approval of the minutes of the April the 20th, 2021 county meeting. And you should have a copy of those. Those minutes are hereby approved as presented to you. Item 1 is a proclamation. I hereby proclaim the month of April the 2021 as Donate Life Month. Can y'all hear me okay? Okay. More than 110,000 men, women, and children await life-saving or life-enhancing organ transplants, with 4,400 residing in Georgia alone. A new patient is added to the national waiting list for an organ transplant every 10 minutes, and 22 people die daily due to the lack of available organs. Donating life through organ, eye, and tissue donation is the ultimate act of generosity and kindness we can perform. LifeLink of Georgia is a nonprofit community service organization dedicated to the recovery of high-quality organs and tissues for transplantation therapy. Please join me in honoring all those who made the decision to give the gift of life and to encourage all residents to take action and sign up on Georgia's donor registry. We just received this proclamation request from LifeLink of Georgia, so we are a little late proclaiming April is a Donate Life Month. Even though late, it is still a very important proclamation. And I had a niece that just celebrated her 22nd year with a liver transplant. Item 2 is an agreement. I hereby approve this agreement between Union County and Air Methods Corporation for emergency aeromedical transportation services for the county's citizens and their household members from June the 1st, 2021 through May the 31st, 2022. The amount of this agreement will not exceed $76,765, and the county will be responsible for half that amount, while Union General Hospital will pay the other half. This is a local emergency helicopter service provided to our residents, whether full or part-time, and is paid for with property tax funds. Item 3 is an agreement. I hereby approve this agreement between Union County and Jeff Burks for computer consulting services from June the 1st, 2021 to June the 1st, 2022. The amount of this agreement is $5,100 per month for the IT services and $2,000 per month for maintaining the security cameras. This cost includes 2 employees on site. This agreement will automatically renew for a light period unless either party terminates at least 10 days prior to the expiration of the current term. The county has approximately 160 cameras in operation that have to be maintained and kept up with, and changed out fairly often as well. So it's a big process, and we know from the recent news reports what happens with our fuel depot being savaged by the people that come in and break in on your computer to steal your data. And so that's partly what, this doesn't guarantee that won't happen, but it guarantees if it does, we'll have somebody else the next year. And so it's a high priority position that they protect the data of the Union County government. Number 4 is an agreement. I hereby accept this agreement between Union County government and the Fadi team for consultation services related to lobbying and monitoring representation in the state of Georgia, with an effective date of May the 6th, 2021, and a current end date of May the 5th, 2022. The amount of this agreement is $25,000 to be invoiced at $2,083.33 per month for the duration of the 12-month agreement. Members of this firm have worked with the county for several years and have recently established a new firm for the purpose of assisting counties full-time. With the number of potential grants and potential revenue enhancements that's out there right now, the county simply doesn't have enough people to keep up with all that. The county feels at this time this is a very reasonable number for the potential outcome of funding availability. Item number 5, Memorandum of Understanding. I hereby accept this Memorandum of Understanding between Union County Government and LexisNexis Copologic Solutions Incorporated to provide online accident report services to citizens who are involved in motor vehicle accidents for a small fee to the requester in Union County. There is no fee to the county for this service, but it hopefully will prevent other county departments from having to come up with this info, i.e. the sheriff's office. So basically, if you have an accident in the county and you have to get a report either for your insurance company or another person or an attorney, this is a firm that will provide that information to you, no cost to the county. But it takes a lot of workload off the county, and we've been using this for some time. Number 6 is the lease amendment. I hereby approve this lease amendment between Union County and State Properties Commission for the Department of Driver Services for the address at 149 Chase Drive, Blairsville, Georgia, 30512, containing 1,440 square feet of rentable office space. This lease amendment has an effective date of July the 1st, 2021 through June the 30th, 2022 in the amount of $1 annually. I don't think we're going to get rich off of this one. The original lease was dated July the 5th, 2018 and contained the option to extend the lease for additional periods of 1 year each. This facility is known as the Driver Services Facility located just in front of the Union County Health Department off the Lynn Gooch bypass. Of course, the reason we lease it for the $1, which is basically giving it to them, is because that allows us to have a driver services office in this county, not requiring everybody to have to go to Blue Ridge to do their driver's test. So we felt like that's been a good arrangement for the county. Item 7 is road acceptance. Apache Bend has been a county-maintained road up to the creek that runs through the culvert and under the road. Maybe a little confusing. The culvert has deteriorated to the point of having to be replaced. The property owners in the area came to the county asking for the remaining portion of the road to be accepted as county-maintained. So the county actually had the road up to and including the culvert, but then there was about another 200 foot, maybe 300 foot distance past that was not part of the county. It's an RV park just as you turn right at Teet's store and make the first right. This is an RV park out there. Upon our investigation to see if this would be possible, it was determined that a 60-foot right-of-way already existed just past the second entrance to Conley Creek Circle. It was decided that there would be no problem accepting this remaining portion into the county-maintained road system as long as the property owners helped bear the cost of bringing the road up to county specs, which included replacing the culvert. Homeowners purchased the culvert, and the culvert will be replaced by the Union County Road Department, which will bring it up to county specs. With all that being said, I hereby accept Apache Bend into the county-maintained road system from the stream that runs under the road to just past the second entrance exit of Common Creek Circle. If you're still confused about that, call Jennifer and she'll take you out there and show you.
Please call. That means I get to leave the office?
Ordinance, number 8 is an ordinance, the second reading. This constitutes as the second reading of the proposed removal of Chapter 82, Article 2 of the Union County Code of Ordinances, referred to as the speed zone ordinance. I read all about this last month, but we have to do it again, and then we'll have the adoption of the actual.
June 1st.
Anyway, each year the Georgia Department of Transportation provides Union County with what they refer to as the speed zone ordinance. It lists out what speed limits should be posted on each of the state highways that go through Union County. We have provided you with a copy so you can see what we are given. Union County has to approve and send a signed copy back to GDOT. Union County goes one step further each year when we receive this, and we actually go and check the speed limit sign markings, make sure they are marked in accordance with the document provided by GDOT. This process has to be done in order for Union County law enforcement to use radar to check the speed of vehicles on these state highways. So now the reason for the removal of this from the Union County Code of Ordinance, it is not a Union County ordinance, but back in 1992 the administration of the county thought that it was. GDOT and the county attorney have both advised us that this is not anything that should be in the Code of Ordinance of Union County. The speed zones on state highways are not set by Union County government. And based on the fact GDOT can change those speed zones each year, it is not something that we should have ever been placed in our Code of Ordinance. Therefore, based on the recommendation from GDOT and confirmed by the county attorney, Union County plans to removing this section of the Code of Ordinance of Union County. Does anybody have any questions on that? Good, hearing none. If you got any more, you can certainly see us after the meeting. The official adoption of this ordinance will be, the adoption of this ordinance removal will be at a call meeting on June the 1st, 2021 at 5 p.m. here in the courthouse.
That's June when?
Say again?
What's the date?
June the 1st. And then number 9 is ordinance, second reading. This constitutes as the second reading of the proposed new section of Union County Code of Ordinances pertaining to minimum development standards for multifamily dwellings. You all have been provided with a copy of the proposed ordinance. As more and more apartment complexes are being built here in Union County, it was determined that there needed to be specific rules and regulations for their construction. This was due to the impact they would have on county roads and also the impact they could potentially have on emergency services, specifically the fire department. The proposed addition to the ordinance defines a multifamily dwelling, sets maximum structural height, minimum building setbacks, building accessibility, buffers, road and entrance requirements, and the location of fire hydrants. The official adoption of this ordinance will be at a call meeting on June the 1st, 2021 at 5 p.m. here in the courthouse. Now we'll take questions if anybody has any in just a minute. I've had a couple of letters, emails regarding this ordinance, and I think rightly so, some people are concerned about apartments taking over Union County, and this is actually what we're trying to prevent. We can't stop all apartments. Apartments are actually built, majority, with the exception of just a couple, within the city limits of Blairsville, because Blairsville has a sewer system, so no apartment complex can be built without the city of Blairsville approving the sewer system. Second thing is we are trying to make this now, because we went through a spell, if you recall, from 2007, 8, and 9, while the economy was going, and then the economy took a bust. And there has been hardly anything, business, home building, everything just slowed to just about a halt from 2009 till really about 3 years ago. And so all that time, there were, I think, maybe one set of apartments were built, so there wasn't a concern about it, because you need a few apartments in the community, because there are people that always need a decent place to rent, and all the apartments that are in the county have been well maintained and are not presenting a problem. But to make sure going in the future, because traffic's becoming more, there are different items that we needed to consider. That's why the building inspection department and other departments, the fire department, all work together to come up with some guidelines which protects the height of the building not being too high, guidelines on fire protection, and elevators, non-elevator use, turn lanes to be able to access into the property. So it's a lot of things that a developer has to do now that they haven't ever had to do before. So that in itself will probably slow down the process somewhat. We're not trying to totally stop it, but we're trying to make it safe, and so it's not a taxpayer burden once they're done in the future. So before I finish, does anybody have any questions or comments
Yes.
on that? Okay.
Lamar, I'm just like all of the other people, and I'm getting concerned about the influx of people that are moving into Union County. Not everybody can move and live in Union Towns and Fadi County. Now, is there any restrictions on the locations of these facilities? Because if they're not, we're going to end up with the same thing that Blue Ridge is faced with right now. Those townhouses on Main Street right there near the railroad tracks.
Yeah. Again, most of that, where they put them is really the city of Blairsville has to agree on that. There's only one. There's a set of apartments out the Blue Ridge Highway. David, is there another set that's in the county?
Not really.
Okay, so that one set's outside the city limits, but just barely outside the city limits. But the sewer system went out to that part already. So that's the only ones. So we don't have direct control of that. But what we're trying to do with this guidance is make it, I won't say more difficult, but make it basically more difficult. Just call it what it is. It's just going to be more difficult to do a project. Won't say it can't be done. We got a distance between them, minimum set of distance it has to be. So if we see an influx of that coming on, we will readdress it in a more stricter means. But right now we have to be fair. We have to be fair with it, and there really are people that are concerned that they're going to be low rent apartments, and there really are no low rent term apartments available for builders to build, except that they might allow you to have a few units as part of an apartment complex. But basically, the days of what did they call Section 8?
Yeah, Section 8.
Section 8 apartments, those days are not around anywhere right now.
Okay. Lamar, we can kid ourselves all we want to, but once it starts, the influx is going to be real rapid and pretty quick. How are these city and county residents, are they going to be taxed with paying with increased water, processed water, and also sanitation facilities? Because once this happens, these problems are going to be there, and they're going to have to be addressed.
Right. All I can tell you on that right now, the city and the county have not sat down yet, and they know that we've been working on these guidelines.
Yeah.
But we have not sat down with them and said, okay, where are you going to set the limits, and how are you going to set the limits? What I will tell you that over the next couple of months, we'll try to make sure that we develop a meeting with the city and try to talk to them about what they could do to come up and help on their side of the issue. We think we've done a good job of this, that it's, you know, it's not saying it can't be done, but it's gonna be harder and more expensive to do it. And it'll be safer when it is done, so, but we realize that we're in an odd time right now, where we've got so many residential projects going on. We feel like that may be on the verge of seeing a slowdown, but we have no way of knowing for sure. So we're keeping our fingers crossed that we're on the high end of that, and yeah, we may have to look at a lot of different issues down the road. Trying to stay away from that Z word, but we may have to look at other issues that will deal with construction. Yes, sir.
Just being a new person to the meetings and to Blair's board, in essence, is there an established committee for planning, and let's use the term people don't like to hear, zoning for the county and the city, a structured planning of growth and development, which would be addressing all these questions, not only apartments, but companies and industry and stores? Is there an established committee of planning for this county and this city?
No, there is not an established committee for that yet. And again, this has really happened in the last couple of years. And to be honest, I won't say it's totally slipped by, but it has somewhat. So we're in the process of working on coming up. The state, one of the firms that we hired, that's exactly what that's for, is to help us work on planning and what we think about we got to come up with in the future. It's a tough time. I've always been a property rights person, and I felt like if you or your family moved here, lived here all your life, or just came here last week and you bought a 100-acre farm, are we going to come around behind that and say, okay, your family's owned this all these years, you pay taxes on it all these years, now we're going to tell you, because we don't want any more growth in Union County, we're going to tell you, you can't divide that up in 1 acre or 2 acre lots. You got to make it 10-acre minimum, or 5-acre minimum, or some amount. So you're drastically decreasing the value of that property. And so my take, as being a native, being born and raised here, is trying to keep our property rights intact as long as we can, but knowing that if we do get to that point, at some point in the future, yeah, we're going to have to look at other options, and we're going to be thinking and working on them in the meantime. But the one thing our biggest salvation is that we've got 50% of the county owned by U.S. Forest Service and Tennessee Valley, and that we still have probably, I don't know the percentage. I guess I need to check on that, but you might even know. The percentage of farms that we got in the county.
I think there's, Doug and I looked at that, and I think there's only 20%. It may be a little more right now.
Of the county that's already in farms.
Yeah.
And
that's decreasing very rapidly.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's good to hear that there is a move towards an independent, not an independent, but an advised and a committee, a planning committee that can come to the people, come to us and say, where do you want to go with this city? Now, the farmland and all that, I think is sort of a different thing. But having a father that for 25 years served on the Cobb County Zoning Commission in Cobb County, Georgia, felt the pain you're talking about.
Sure.
And they saw the growth and the rezoning and all the other things happening. And it became, they had the same concern about telling a property owner, you can't do this, you can't do that. And lawsuits developed. And I think it's a tough thing, but without a plan and without a joint commitment, I think that they realized too that it wasn't going to work. You would have arguments all the time. What's fair to one has to be fair for the others. And you got to be sensitive. I'm a big property owner here. I want my land protected too. I want my rights protected. Are we talking about downtown, how we develop a downtown Blairsville versus the surrounding farm properties? That to me is sort of a different issue.
It is, and that's why I say I have zero input other than going to them and talking to the city of Blairsville about what they do and how they set up their guidelines. But I will agree that we do need to get with them and start talking about this, because we're just in the last year really seeing I guess the traffic's kind of your guide to growth. And we still don't know how much of this traffic is still coming up here, visiting, getting away from other places, and how much of it's going to be here long term. But at the same time, you can't run people out. That's what I said. We've worked hard at trying to make the county better, to try to make it better for our citizens, to have good facilities, to have good recreation, good hospital. We want the people that are living here to have the best that they can afford, that we can afford to give them from the tax money. But at the same time you do that, you're making it a better place to live. Not only for the people that live here, but for the people that are not happy where they're at and decide, hey, I'm in Cobb County, I'm ready to get up to the mountains where it's a little quieter. So we understand that's an issue that we're going to have to be dealing with. And all I can tell you is we don't have any solutions right now, but we're going to be working. And we're not the only county like that. Every county in North Georgia, Towns, Rayburn, White, Lumpkin, they've all got the same kind of issues that we're all the commissioners get together and talk about. Nobody's just come up with a solution yet. But we're going to continue to work on it.
Lamar,
Yes.
I understand what he's saying, and I've served on zoning committees before and restriction committees. But by the same token, even though Blairsville, City of Blairsville is a independent situation than the county, I believe, still should have some input in what the city is going to do, because the surrounding county is going to be affected as well.
Yeah, that's definitely the case. But you know, the law is what it is, and so we try to work with them on a meeting and getting along basis as one. You know, we can't tell them what to do, and they can't tell us what to do. It's just the way the law is between city and county statewide in the whole state of Georgia, and probably in most states. But we're not forgetting about it. We're concerned about it. We're going to be looking at ways, working with our regional commission. We're in a regional commission made up of 11 or 13 counties, and so we all work for solutions that work for the whole region wide, and they have people. In fact, they worked with us along with their building inspection department and Chief Dyer in the fire department. They worked with us on trying to come up with this apartment ordinance that we're doing now. And so it's kind of our first step to get out there and say, hey, we're seeing that there's an issue. We're going to start working on it, and we'll continue to be working on that. Yes.
How many apartment complexes are currently in the works? New ones?
The one that's right out the highway about a mile is the only one I'm aware of. Is there another one in process? Yeah. There may be other people thinking about it or talking about it, but as far as the county is concerned, only got the one right out the road here. It's just has recently opened. I don't know if it's totally open yet or just partially, but anyway, it is open. That's the only one that we're aware of right now. Am I correct on that, or is there?
That is correct. And what brought the moratorium on was that there was 4 different properties that connected to city sewer that were inquiring about apartments, and that's when the moratorium went into effect to get this.
And that's what he's saying. There was a period of time that there were 3 or 4 people checking at the same time, interested in that, and that's when we got concerned and started on this. We put a moratorium on it, and then we started going through and redoing this ordinance. Yes, ma'am.
When would you have that voted on and tabled? Just
Voted on and what?
the whole not the moratorium, but the ordinances on multifamily housing. When will that be voted on? And funds?
June the 1st, 5 o'clock here.
Okay.
I just want to say that I agree with it. I hope I wasn't misunderstood. I agree with this gentleman 100%. It involves everybody. The county is just as important
Right.
as the city.
Sure.
And I think everybody should have the input into that. We all want, perhaps some people want more growth, but we want to protect our properties.
Right.
We want to protect our investments. And I certainly agree with you. It's not just a city ordinance. this thing, it is a county issue, and I think that's right.
I
This-
don't
this-
think anybody is opposed to growth, it's how it is managed.
Right. And so far, we've been able to kind of keep it at a reasonable rate, and that's going to be our continued goal. And the more pressure we feel, that's what made this pop out. And the more pressure we feel from other things, we've got a lot of other items and issues that we're looking at and considering related to that. So we're just trying to be fair. And we know as you have new growth, then a lot of that new growth doesn't pay for itself. A lot of older growth has to help pay for it. So we don't want to we want to make sure that if we have new growth, that it's paying for itself. Yes.
I'm a local real estate broker and have been here in Blairsville for 16 years. And so when we talk about this multifamily stuff, et cetera, we are skinny on the inventory, but our local families or our working class, those who serve us and cater to our retirees, et cetera, also have families, young families, and it's very hard for them to find housing that is affordable, that they can purchase or rent. I mean, you have to practically be kin to somebody. I think that Walmart coming to town and with your guidance for Walmart to fit in with the aesthetics and do rocks and everything else is the way we need to approach growth. And I don't personally see any nasty communities around town. And baby boomers every 9 seconds until the year so-and-so and so-and-so are turning 65. That is the influx, and we cannot change the fact that baby boomers are maturing. Baby boomers have a lot of money to drive our prices way over the top, and we have a great, great need to house real people and not just retired people.
Okay, thank you. Okay. No more questions on that. We'll move on to number 10. I hereby approve this business license for Fadi Investments, LLC, located at 21 Settlers Trail, Blairsville. As a reminder to all Union County only issues a business license for a hotel, motel, or residential short-term rental type business for the purpose of collecting hotel, motel taxes. Item 11, Commissioner's comments, and I probably more than average kind of keep up with Facebook, and I guess right now if you've been in or around or watch or have anything to do with Facebook, all you have seen is in the last, not all you've seen, but the majority of what you've seen is senior classes, and you've seen on the square with the pictures of our seniors and what they're going to be doing. You read the awards that our seniors are giving and getting, and it makes you proud to know that Union County really does have a great school system, a lot of great kids that are there. We've got 11, I think it is, going in the military. We've got, I should have got more information before I came in, but we've got a lot of kids. We've got one going to Dartmouth. We've got them going to other Ivy League schools. We've got them going all over Georgia and to Georgia. Go Dogs. Just a little side light there. And I'm not sure we got 10 or 15, I think, that are going to the University of Georgia. There's probably a couple going to Georgia Tech, but we can't remember those. Just kidding. Great school. And we even got one I know of going to Auburn. Don't know how that slipped up. He was destined to be a Bulldog, and next thing we know, he's at Auburn. So can't win them all. Anyway, I'm proud of that's another part of our school, our county that I'm proud of is our school and school system, and the fact that they do such a great job. Maybe, I'm sure there's always that case here and there that may fall through, but for the most part, they do a great job. We have good teachers, administrators, assistants that help with educating our kids. And the one thing I always say that as commissioner, we can't forget our kids in school. And we can't forget and say, well, I moved up here from Cobb County or from Florida or from California or New York, and I don't want to see anybody else here because I like it like it is. I don't want other people coming. My standard comment, language on that is, if we do not look after our young people and be cognizant of providing them jobs and ways to stay here, we don't want to make every kid that's born and raised in Union County have to move off and go somewhere else. All of them aren't going to stay and a lot of them are going to leave. But we have to provide jobs for some of those people. And providing jobs for those people also entails providing housing for some of those people.
Amen.
You got, you know, it just doesn't, and look at some of the ages of some of us in here that may be a little over the normal age. Who the heck's going to take care of us if we run all the young people off? So I just think it's an important part that we don't need to forget about, that our young people are really important. And that's from somebody that doesn't have a young people here. But we should did. So I'm going to adjourn the county meeting at this time. That's all the official county business. And I'm going to take questions and comments from anybody that has any. Yes, sir.
Well, I was wondering, I read a while back that the gravel parking lot that is used for public parking behind the square.
Gravel parking lot.
The public parking behind the square, or behind all of the mall, is going to be paved by the proceeds from Arby's sale. How is that coming along?
Well, that's another one of those. Well, get up here. That's another one of those questions I like. I say you got to go see the mayor. That's in the city of Blair. I'm not being smart aleck. Just maybe just a little bit. But no, that's the city of Blairsville, and they totally control that. And I've been hearing the same thing, and I haven't actually talked to the mayor and asked him when are they going to be paving this, but they have filled it in. They have leveled off more of late, and they have got some gravel out there. So we're expecting to see some asphalt there, hopefully this year, but I can't. That is a mayor, city hall, total control of that. Any other questions or comments? Okay, well, thank y'all. And again, if you don't feel like or don't want to talk here, or you think of something later on, I wish I'd asked that, call the office, ask for Jennifer. She'll either get me or get you.